Good afternoon. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for streaming in live with us right now as we get ready to go to the West Wing of the White House for a press conference, White House press conference with Karoline Leavitt. So we'll go to that in its entirety in just a bit from now. It's just past the bottom of the hour, 12:32 on the East Coast, 9:32 on the West Coast. You know, I was just looking through a few posts online on X and on Truth Social, and I saw something that Whoopi Goldberg said on The View that the libs of TikTok just posted. She was talking about Joe Biden and the whole situation there, but she said something interesting at the beginning of what she said, and she had applause from the crowd. This is what she said. There always has been a trust issue because politicians and media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. And then everybody was clapping. Well, yes, that's a true statement in regards to the past. Other than President Trump's 45th administration, other than many great things from Ronald Reagan, and then we have to go way back into history to find a lot of other great items and things that have happened for our country. But still, there always has been a trust issue because politicians and media, nobody knows what they're supposed to do. Whoopi Goldberg just said this on The View. Interesting. Because the politicians she may be referring to have nothing to do with President Donald Trump. He has promises made, promises kept. And then conservative media, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. Talking about common sense, talking about the true narrative, talking about really what's happening out there from a very simple standpoint of God, family, country. This is common sense. It's not rocket science. It's to help people, not hurt people. It's to build up the country, not destroy the country. So politicians, I guess President Trump now is now called a politician, but that doesn't apply to President Trump. It doesn't apply to the conservative media because we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. Whoopi again saying there's always been a trust issue because politicians and media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. She's actually right for a lot of other people. That's true. There is a trust issue there for those people in the sense of those people are anybody that lies to the American people from a political standpoint, lies to the American people from a media standpoint. She's right. There's a trust issue. And so what we're seeing is President Trump and the cabinet and conservative media building trust back again. We already trust President Trump. We already saw what he did during his first administration, what he went through over the past 4 years, and what he's doing in this administration. And then also the trust and loyalty, the reason why Right Side Broadcasting Network and some other conservative media out there, the reason why we have these numbers here at this network is because Joe Seals, 2015, started all those rallies, covered all of those events, heard of President Trump's speeches and aired them in its entirety, and then showed the entire crowd at the same time. And in some cases, 2 or 3 camera shoots, as we call them in the biz, where you have a live split screen of different boxes. You remember the Madison Square Garden rally? I remember seeing Robert McNeely and Megan Kohler were live in New York City. It was this huge Madison Square Garden rally. We had a 4-box up on the screen there. We had Robert and we had Megan in one of the boxes. We had the shot of the stage at Madison Square Garden. Then we had another shot at the corner of one of the streets in Manhattan with all the people there in line. And then another shot similar to that. I mean, we're showing you everything that we can and have stuck to that since 2015. So that's why the trust is extremely high from you, the viewer, from myself as well. I mean, I watched Right Side when I was working in local and mainstream media and that kind of thing. I was looking forward to it. Hey, you know what? I actually thought about it at one point. I won't say when, but I said to my buddy on the phone, maybe I texted or I talked to him, I don't remember, but I was like, man, Right Side. Well, maybe I should just go on the air in the mainstream media and just go on there and say something like, Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president, and then just walk off set like some have before. So anyway, it's great to be able to say that freely here on this network. All right, so it's 12:37, Tuesday, May 20th. Thanks again for streaming in live. We're going to go right to the West Wing for the press briefing here in just a minute with Karoline Leavitt, who will be live for the press briefing. Also taking part in that Take Your Son and Daughter to Work Day event. I'm not sure what that will look like at the press briefing, but we'll see. Looking forward to that. Also, again, at 2:30 Eastern, so in about 2 hours from now, Robert McNeely will be right here in studio, and he'll be covering the 3 p.m. Oval Office announcement from President Trump. The DOD Secretary, Pete Hegseth, will also be in the Oval Office. So this is a military standpoint announcement. Will it be as minor, if you want to call it minor, as the 747 retrofitting announcement? And that's not minor at all, because it's an Air Force plane that the president would fly on. Or is it about something else? I have no idea. Maybe it's about the Golden Dome for the country. I can't speculate any further than that. There's many more things I could, but why do that when I just don't have the facts for you, so I'm not going to keep talking about it. What we'll do is we'll just watch together at 3 o'clock. I'm really interested. I hope it's about the 747 Qatari plane and how they're retrofitting it and what the paint will look like on it and all of the, that. Maybe it'll be about something much more serious when it comes to foreign policy. Who knows? That's what you call must-watch streaming. So we'll be doing that here at Right Side, as Robert McNeely will be covering that a little bit later. So again, that's 2:30, that start time. 3 o'clock will be the Oval Office announcement from President Trump. In the meantime, what we're looking for now is in the next 21 minutes, maybe it will start earlier or just a few minutes after, but it's the White House press briefing with Karoline Leavitt. This is back-to-back a press briefing. We had one just yesterday at 9 a.m. What a way to start the week. Those of you that woke up with us yesterday and watched the press briefing, thank you for doing so. And then we'll watch another one here in just a minute. In the other broadcast this morning, it talked about the 20 reasons why Congress must unite behind the one big, beautiful bill. We're going to go over a few of the highlights of that 20, not all 20 like I read in the past broadcast. Again, these are from the White House directly. This is not my spin or my words or me saying, oh, this is the true narrative. None of that. I'm not trying to spin anything, by the way, anyway. It's all about, hey, here's common sense. We want to be safer in our country. We want more health. We want our constitutional rights. Stuff I've said before on the network, but I'm not trying to be a rocket scientist here, because I wouldn't do very well doing that. Elon Musk can do that. Speaking of Elon Musk, before we get to this one big, beautiful bill, Director, can we pull up that photo of the U.S. Army, who are actually getting trained right now on the Starlink to enhance remote communication? So this from the Department of Defense. That is a Starlink in the soldiers' hands there. They're working on, hey, all right, how does this work? Because it's going to help them with communication out there in the remote areas along the southern border, whether it's Texas or New Mexico or Arizona or California. So pretty cool to see that right there with our U.S. military. All right, let's shift gears back to the one big, beautiful bill. So number one, it delivers the largest tax cut in American history. It means an extra $5,000 in Americans' pockets with a double-digit % decrease. Pretty awesome to see that. And that that double-digit % decrease to their tax bills, the specifics on that are Americans, or those of us earning anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000, will pay around 15% less in taxes. This is all part of the big, beautiful bill. It includes the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, also for our senior citizens as well, our great seniors out there, also our great military veterans. I mean, just thank you again for your service, and we just honor you guys and respect you a lot here at Right Side, and of course in conservative media as a whole. It delivers big, beautiful deportations, so it really permanently secures our borders by making the largest border security investment in history, ramping up mass deportation operations. It also, I like this one too. If you guys are learning a little bit more about me when it comes to social media, I like posting about the southern border a lot. It's just fascinating to see our military, again, on the soil there and on our soil protecting our country in that fashion. What we're seeing is, part of the big, beautiful bill, President Trump's border wall will be finished through this bill. That will be 701 miles of primary wall, 900 miles of river barriers, 629 miles of secondary barriers, and 141 miles of vehicle and pedestrian barriers will be constructed. stopping deadly fentanyl from flowing into our communities, and securing the border from dangerous illegal immigrant murderers and rapists. So we see that the wall will be complete through this bill. And that is only 4 out of 20 that the White House has sent out saying, hey, these are the reasons why Congress should pass this thing. They look dang good to me, to be honest with you, as a casual kind of approach there with my commentary. But, you know, it's what it looks like. It looks great. I read it before, and hopefully you get a chance to see it. I could post this on, I'll post this on my Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez in just a bit, the 20 reasons why Congress must unite behind the one big beautiful bill. So I'll post that here in a minute. I'll actually got to remind myself on the fly here, post the 20. And the reason why I do all this is we're live constantly, right? So, I mean, we're just part of the program here, and we'll be showing you the event there. Now, this is awesome because this is about God, family, and country. This is going to be a White House press conference. Karoline Leavitt will be there, but it's also open to bring your sons and daughters to work day event. So this was happening out there at the South Lawn. I believe it's most likely the same people from the South Lawn are now going to the press room, and we'll see what this looks like live here. Again, now it is specifically called on the president's schedule a press briefing, but it's within the framework of Take Your Sons and Daughters to Work Day event. So we'll see what that looks like here shortly. So anyway, I'll be posting the 20 reasons why Congress must unite behind that bill. So post that a little bit later. And then you'll probably be able to see it on the White House, you know, whitehouse.gov or other sites out there that'll hook you up with that information. But I think it's really important to see specifically what this bill is all about. That's something that you really wouldn't get with a lot of other so-called politicians. They wouldn't really say what's in the bill. Well, this is our money that they're working with here. This is our tax dollars. So what are you guys going to do with it? Well, border security, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, delivers the deportations, the wall will be taken care of. It boosts Border Patrol and ICE agents on the front lines, protects Medicaid for Americans. It reverses the spending curse plaguing Washington, D.C. It requires able-bodied Americans to work if they receive benefits. It ends taxpayer-funded sex change for minors. It reverses the whole Biden-era mandate that Medicaid would cover the so-called gender transition. Provides historic tax relief to Social Security recipients. It will give Americans permanent tax relief through the Trump tax cuts. It finally modernizes air traffic control. It ends the taxpayer-funded Green New scam. It incentivizes Made in America. It is pro-family. The bill increases the child tax credit, establishes MAGA accounts for newborns to start saving, and strengthens paid family leave. It also repeals Democrats' insane attack on the gig economy. The White House says it repeals the requirement that Venmo and PayPal and other gig transactions over $600 be reported to the IRS. It also protects family farmers. It's a once-in-a-generation chance to revolutionize our nation's defense capabilities and protect the homeland against new threats. It funds President Trump's Golden Dome, invests in American shipbuilding, and modernizes our military. Maybe that will be what the announcement's about at 3 o'clock from the Oval Office with Pete Hegseth. We don't know. We'll be watching. Maybe it's about that 747 from Qatar. Again, we'll see. Number 19. I ran through all of them a lot quicker this time than last time. I did read word for word of them last time. But number 19, it unleashes American energy dominance. And number 20, it boosts American mineral development. So those are the 20 reasons the White House says that Congress should pass the big, beautiful bill. So again, President Trump speaking about that earlier today. Let's go to President Trump from earlier today because it's actually about 13 minutes of President Trump speaking to reporters, two different sets of a group of reporters as he was walking to speak to the House GOP conference. So, Director, if we have that video, it'd be great to go to that and replay the president from this morning talking about the big, beautiful bill. Take a look.
We took out $5.1 billion. If you take a look, 5.1 trillion with a T, not a B. 5.1 trillion out of the Middle East. They're investing more than that. It's going to be ultimately more than that. About 180 wide-body Boeing aircraft. They're spending money at levels that nobody's ever seen. Usually a president goes for a trip and he loses money. In other words, he gives money. We went for a trip and we took out $5.1 trillion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. And that's just the beginning. So I think we're a very unified party. The Senate's doing great. John Thune is doing fantastically. He's a great guy. And we're going to have a bill, the one big beautiful bill. I think it's going to be, it's the biggest bill ever passed, and we got to get it done. Tremendous tax cuts for people, tremendous incentives, tremendous regulation cuts, all these regulations that are so horrible. And now you find out what happened, because Biden, look, it's a very sad thing what happened, but we're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew. I said there's nobody that would want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He auto-penned it. Who was operating the auto-pen? This is a very serious thing. We had a president that didn't sign anything. He auto-penned almost everything. He opened the borders of the United States of America. And I kept saying, who would do such a thing? Allowing criminals to pour in from all over the world, not just South America, all over the world. They came in from Africa, they came in from Asia, they came from the Congo. The prisons in the Congo in Africa, these are rough people. The prisons from the Congo are empty. You know where they are? They're in this country. Who would sign this? Nobody would sign it. No sane person would sign it. You know who signed it? Radical left lunatics that were running our country, and the auto-pen signed it. And they didn't want him, and they were disappointed in getting him because they wanted Bernie Sanders. And then after about 2 weeks, they said, wait a minute, this is a gift. He'll do anything. We're going to use the auto-pen. And they used the auto-pen and everything. He didn't approve this stuff because when Joe Biden was with it, he would never have approved it. You take a look. He would have never approved open borders. Go ahead, another one.
Are Republicans still grandstanding in your view?
Oh, yeah, sure. You have a couple that will grandstand, but I think even the grandstanders should. Look, the alternative is a 68% tax increase. And you can blame the Democrats for that and one or two grandstanders. We only have one or two, but we have tremendous support. But you'll have a 68% tax increase, or you'll get a massive tax decrease. You'll get a tax cut, the likes of which we've never had before. This is bigger than any Ronald Reagan tax cut. It's even bigger than the tax cut that I gave, because as you know, that's being extended and increased. So this is the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, or you'll get a 68% tax increase. And if that happens, I mean, what Republican could vote for that to happen? Because there wouldn't be a Republican much longer. They would be knocked out so fast. But we're going up to details. This is I'm a cheerleader for this party, and I'm a cheerleader for the country. Much more importantly for the country. But I'm a cheerleader for the party, and we're going to go up, and I think we're going to have a very good discussion. There are one or two points that some people feel strongly about, but maybe not so strong.
On one of those points, do you consider some of the proposals on the table in co-pay provider tax as a benefit cut? How are you viewing those?
No, we are looking at one thing. We're not doing any cutting of anything meaningful. The only thing we're cutting is waste, fraud, and abuse. With Medicaid, waste, fraud, and abuse. There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. There's incompetent things with it. We have illegal aliens that are multiple killers with multiple murder records getting Medicaid. I don't think anybody minds if we cut that. The Democrats, on the other hand, are going to destroy it because they're going to leave these people on. We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare, and we're not changing Social Security. And if I wanted to do those things, I would have done it during my 4 years that we were.
Mr. President, what's your message to your fellow New Yorker Republicans who are hung up on the SALT issue?
Well, SALT is a very interesting thing because the governors of New York and Illinois, you know, the big JB who's going nowhere. Probably right now he could be the worst governor in the country. but Illinois and Gavin Newsom. Those are the people that want this. And they're Democrat states. They're all Democrat states. Ronald Reagan tried very hard to get this passed, was unable to do it the way we have it, where basically everybody's treated equally. He tried it so hard, and he never got it done. He was always disappointed. He never got it done. We got it done. Now people want to change it. So we're going to be talking about that. But the biggest beneficiary, if we do that, are governors from New York, Illinois, and California. And those governors are the ones that blew it because they weren't able to get it. So I think we're going to be explaining that. These are all very blue states that I don't really believe. If we had honest elections, I don't actually believe. I think I would have won California. I would have won New York. I even think I would have won Illinois. I think we have to, we're going to start this after. I was talking to Mike, and again, I'm his biggest fan. I love this guy. He's the only guy who could have walked in with a 1. Think of it. You can't be a guy like me and have a 1 majority. You have to be a guy like him, a nice person. He's very religious. He prays. He's a man of God. And so am I, but he's really to a new level, I will tell you. He is a great guy. They love him in Louisiana, and they love him that's the only kind of guy. Somebody said, oh, well, we want somebody that, if you put a certain personality in there, you would have never, look at what he got passed, what he's gotten passed. And just so you understand, he's getting this passed too. And I don't think there's anybody I could give you guys that is so tough. You guys would run if you ever looked at him. If you ever saw some of these guys, you would not ask him questions you'd be afraid to. This guy did something that I don't think there's anybody that's more well-suited to be Speaker of the House, especially in a case like this. Remember, we had a majority of 1 for 6 months, and that was a very frightening thing because the Democrats have really hurt our country. And we are going to go into very much, remember what I said, the auto pay. This government was illegally run for 4 years. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, should the DOJ be charging a member of Congress?
Mr. President, should Republicans that hinder this bill be primary?
Possibly. We'll have to see. I think we have a very, very united party. This man has done a fantastic job, and so have you, Lisa. Thank you. But this man has done a fantastic job. He's a real unifier. I don't think anybody else could have done it. I just said to your cohorts downstairs, we had a majority of 1 for a period of 5 months. And he kept it together, and we actually passed things. And nobody else could have done that. He's done a fantastic job as Speaker. We have a very, very unified party. Remember, we had 1, and now we have 7. We won elections. Now we're going to win a lot of elections. The economy is good. I just had my highest poll numbers ever. And we had a big trip to the Middle East. We took in $5.1 trillion. We brought it back to our country. 180 Boeing aircraft are being built now because of that trip, and many other things. That's the least of it. The economy is doing great. The stock market's higher now than when I came to office, and we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff money, and we've had no inflation. They kept saying inflation. There's no inflation. Groceries are down. Gasoline is way down. Everything is down. All energy costs are down. I'll tell you, to me, maybe the most respected thing, you saw the way they respected me between Qatar and Saudi Arabia and UAE, probably the richest, certainly the richest of their type nation, great places, unbelievable amounts of money. They respect our country again. They were going to go to China. China was going to take over those countries 100%. They were dealing with China because they weren't treated right by the last administration. And they have tremendous economic power. They have more money than anybody. We probably have more money, but we have other things like this. They are very cash rich, to put it mildly. And they're spending 5.1 trillion. Probably it's going to be 7 trillion by the time we stop. And somebody said every other president goes and leaves and spends money, gives other countries money. I'm the only one that goes and takes money back. When you think of it. I said, that's an interesting statement. I never thought of it that way. But we have This is really just a pep talk. We have a very unified House and we have a very unified Senate. And Mike is doing a phenomenal job as Speaker. He's going to be there a long time. And we have a man in the Senate, our leader, Thune. Mr. Thune is doing a great job. I've gotten to like him a lot, and he's doing a fantastic job. Between the two guys, very different personalities, actually, in certain ways, but they are doing a fantastic job. I don't think the Republican Party has ever been so unified. It's become a much bigger party. You know, we're winning the labor vote. We won the Teamsters. We won votes that nobody. Look how well we did with the automakers. And by the way, the president of the automakers is now my biggest fan. He said he did tariffs. You know how many auto plants are being built now in this country because of the tariffs? 3 just announced yesterday that they're building. There's a revolution going on, a positive one, in our country, and I love it, and we're doing really well. And
we'll time for the negotiations to stop, Mr. President. Do you want the negotiations to be over now?
Which negotiation?
Over this bill.
Oh yeah, well it's going to be. We're going to be putting it in soon, and I think we're going to have great support.
Are you going to
We're going to make a couple of tweaks. I mean, we don't want to benefit Democrat governors, although I would do that if it made it better, but they don't know what they're doing. And,
So
you know, they're radical. We don't want to do any damage to a state. We want to help all the states, but we have governors that are from the Democrat Party. Let's say New York, Illinois, big ones, and let's say Gavin Newsom, who's done a horrible job in California. You know, we want to benefit we want to benefit Republicans because they are the ones that are going to make America great again. The Democrats are destroying our country, and you see that with a past administration, with an open borders policy that allowed 21 million people into our country, and many of those people are stone-cold murderers, killers, and trouble. Yeah.
What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay
Say it.
this? What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay this?
I'm a fiscal hawk.
They don't think this cut's not spending.
I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a
Thomas
fiscal
Massey
hawk.
said this has more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massey is correct in saying that this is adding Biden level
No, I don't
spending?
think Thomas Massey understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some too. Go ahead.
Mr. President, on Medicaid, do you want work requirements phased in next year? Do you think
Here's what I
that's
want
possible?
on Medicaid. We're not touching anything. All I want is one thing. 3 words. We don't want any waste, fraud, or abuse. Very simple. Waste, fraud, abuse. Other than that, we're leaving it. Medicare, we're leaving it. All we're after, and this is for the good of it, is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all we're doing. We're not touching it. The Democrats are going to destroy it. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you later.
Hi, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see so many beautiful faces in this room and so many future leaders. Hi, Eloise. You look so cute back there. I'm so excited to host this briefing today in honor of National Bring Your Kids to Work Day, and it's great to see so many future leaders here. Welcome to the James S. Brady Briefing Room. My name is Karoline Leavitt, and I am the White House Press Secretary for President Donald J. Trump. He is the 45th and now the 47th President of the United States. My job at the White House is to communicate the President's message to the American people and to answer questions from journalists who work in this building every day, many of whom are your moms and your dads. Now, they ask me some pretty good questions, but I'm sure you will all have excellent questions to ask me yourselves. So before we open it up to questions today, I will give you a very short update on what the President is working on today. Earlier this morning, President Trump traveled to Capitol Hill to meet with members of the House of Representatives to talk about the one big, beautiful bill that we are trying to pass through Congress. The President is now back at the White House where he is taking meetings, and later this afternoon he will be making an announcement from the Oval Office with our Secretary of Defense. He's in charge of our military, Pete Hegseth. So I want to thank all of you for coming today. It's great to have you here at the People's House. And you have some very special parents who perform a very special job. And we are here to make America great again. And we live in the history of the world. And we are all very blessed to be here. So with that, thank you. I am happy to take some of your questions. And why don't you start us off, beautiful little girl? Go ahead.
What's your question for Mr. Trump?
She's thinking very hard about it.
You can ask it. You can ask it. She wants to know if Donald Trump likes to give hugs.
Oh, does he like to give hugs? You know, I think he does. I have seen him give many hugs to children and his family and our beautiful First Lady. So yes, I do think he likes to give hugs. You're welcome. Emily, would you like to ask a question?
Yes. What is the funnest part about your job and the hardest part about your job?
Wow. Well, that is definitely a very good question. I think the most fun part about my job is doing things like this with all of you in the briefing room and answering so many great questions. I think the hardest part of my job is also doing things like this in the briefing room and answering all of these questions. And reading the news is a big part of my job every day. I wake up and read the newspaper and watch the news and listen to all of the things that your parents are reporting on in the news. And that's a big part of my job every day. Frankie, go ahead. What is President Trump's favorite food? Well, President Trump loves a lot of different foods, but I think his favorite is probably steak. I've had steak with him on many occasions, and he likes to eat a big, beautiful steak. Do you like steak, Frankie? Yes? Okay. Jack, nice to see you. I like your hat. You're welcome. Would you like to ask a question?
What's the state of the border?
What's the state of the border? I can assure you the border is the most secure it has ever been in the history of our country. And I think your dad works for the Homeland Security Council, so that's a very apropos question, and your dad's doing a great job securing the border. Hazel Jane, what a beautiful name. Ask a question? Okay.
Actually, can you come back to me?
Sure, I can come back to you. I'd be happy to. Bobby Lynn?
How many people has he fired?
How many people has he fired? Thus far, actually, we have not had anyone fired with the exception of one individual who did leave their job. But we have a great team here so far. So good. Thank you for the question. Yes, little man. Is that your mommy? Your mommy is a great journalist. What's your question?
What's Donald Trump's favorite ice cream? He wants to know.
Ooh. I have seen the president eat ice cream sundaes before with chocolate sauce and some toppings too. Raise your hand if you like ice cream sundaes. It's a very popular policy position to have. Yes, very good. Dario, would you like to go?
What is the president? If the president had a superpower, what would it be?
Wow. If the president could have a superpower, what would it be? That is a very good question. I think if he had a superpower, it would be to just snap his fingers and solve all of our country's problems just like that, because he likes to get things done very quickly, but sometimes it takes longer. Like today, he had to go to Capitol Hill to convince people to vote for his one big beautiful bill. I bet if he had a superpower, he would snap his fingers and get it passed immediately, but life doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Go ahead, buddy.
What is Donald Trump's favorite soccer player?
Soccer player? You know, I don't know the answer to that. It's a very good question. I will check in with the president and get back to you. How's that sound? But I know he likes soccer and he likes all sports. Go ahead.
Probably the country like each week.
Does he leave the country each week? No, he doesn't. We left the country last week and we went on a long trip to the Middle East. very far away, but we have some plans to leave the country later this year, but most weeks he's right here at the White House working very hard. Nora, go ahead.
Which is Trump's favorite president besides himself?
It's a good question, because it would be probably himself. No, I think that perhaps he would say George Washington. I know he speaks very highly of George Washington, who was, of course, the first president of our great country, and he has his big, beautiful portrait hanging in the Oval Office above the fireplace. Good question. Go ahead. You look very professional and beautiful.
Thank you so much. What's it like? For you, I have a question for you. What is it like balancing a baby and your job as the press secretary as your age?
Sure. It's a very good question, and my baby is here with my mother. As you can see, he does not know what's going on. But it is a challenge every day, but it's also a blessing to have this opportunity and to be a mom. So you have to learn to prioritize your time and lean on your support system, which is my mother and my husband and my family and friends. And you can do it. You just have to work very hard. Yes.
Hi, my name is Harvaya. My mom is Sariana Veras.
Oh, nice to meet you.
My question is, as press secretary, as the youngest press secretary, what advice would you give to young girls like me who want to achieve their dreams?
It's a great question, and you're so beautiful. My best advice would be to work as hard as you possibly can and just pursue every opportunity that opens up and is given to you, and just work as hard as you can. You're welcome. Behind you. Yeah.
Trump going to do about climate change?
What is Donald Trump going to do about climate change? Well, that is a very good question. The president cares very much about our environment. He says all the time he wants to have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, the cleanest environment for the world. He also cares very much about our energy independence and ensuring that we can keep the lights on in our homes at a very cheap rate. So we want to make energy here in the United States because we do it cleaner and better than everyone. So I think that's how the president would answer that question. You're welcome. Go ahead.
What is your favorite country that you've been to before?
What is my favorite country I've been to before? Oh, wow. That's a very good question. Well, I've been to many countries. I lived in Italy for a few months to study, but I very much enjoyed our trip last week to the Middle East, where the president went to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, and they were 3 beautiful countries. We'll take a couple more questions. To the back, that beautiful high hand. Go ahead.
What pets did Donald Trump have when he grew up and also right now?
What was that, buddy?
What pets did Donald Trump have when he grew up and also right now?
Well, he doesn't have any pets right now. I don't know if he had any pets when he was growing up. I'll have to check with him and ask, but there's no pets at the White House right now, except for our great canine Secret Service dog friends that are here to protect us. Hazel Jane, did you remember your question?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the president's religion?
What's the president's religion? The president is a Christian, and he believes in Jesus. Yes? In the back?
What did the president do today?
What did the president do today? The president was very busy today. He went to Capitol Hill earlier today, and then he's here back at the White House, and he's doing meetings, and then he's going to do a big announcement at 3 o'clock where all of your moms and dads will be able to ask him questions directly. Go ahead, buddy. What was that, buddy? How much candy does he eat a day? A good amount. A good amount of candy, yes. He likes pink Starburst and Tootsie Rolls. Yes, buddy, go ahead. We'll take 2 more.
What's the president's favorite order at McDonald's?
President's favorite order at McDonald's. He loves McDonald's hamburgers and French fries. Who doesn't? They're good. In the back. Go ahead, bud.
Your least favorite news outlet?
My least favorite what?
News outlet.
I could tell you're a staff kid, not a journalist kid. Did someone say ABC? Honestly, it depends on the day. Go ahead, honey. Favorite room in the White House? I think his favorite room in the White House is definitely the Oval Office because it's so beautiful and he has decked it out in gold. It's now MAGA gold in there. Yes, go ahead, one more.
What's his favorite child?
That is a very controversial question, and I am not going to answer it. I know he loves all of his children very much, and they're all great kids. Some of them were here yesterday. We'll do one more to the little girl in the back behind you. Yes.
Who's your favorite president?
Who's my favorite president? Well, that's a good question to answer. Donald Trump. Thank you guys so very much. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for coming. We'll see you later. You're welcome. Happy National Bring Your Kids to Work.
Well, there you go. The next generation in the White House press briefing room in the West Wing, asking some great questions, including about President Trump's food likes, steak and McDonald's and that kind of thing. Pretty awesome to see that right there. Producer, can you repeat? Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Let me wrap up here. So obviously that was great to watch. And, it's awesome to see the fact that this White House is transparent and sharing truth with we the people. So wonderful to watch that. It's 1:14 Eastern time. And I don't know if I heard it from Charlie Kirk or TPUSA, but basically be a rebel, get married, have kids. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I have a 7-month-old, and it was just really cute to see that right there on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, let's go to Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group. freegoldguy.com/RSBN is the website right there. If you're looking to shift over some money to the gold and silver aspect, you can do that through Colonial Metals Group. freegoldguy.com/RSBN. All tax-free right there as well. So let's go to All Family Pharmacy as another sponsor. As you can see there, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Pay less for prescription medications. Now, this is a great percentage off, 20% off using that RSBN 20 promo code. You see that right there on your screen, whether you're looking for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, essential medications, methylene blue, and also antibiotics. You can order this all in bulk. And specifically, we know that President Trump recently signed that powerful executive order to lower prescription drug prices across the country. It's a major step in the fight for affordable health care. But while the system somewhat drags its feet, one pharmacy isn't waiting. And as you know, it's allfamilypharmacy.com. RSBN 20, the percentage for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and a lot of other essential medications. A great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So what a cool event to end on for this part of the broadcast. The White House press briefing with Karoline Leavitt and the kids of the staff there at the White House, and some journalists as well, answering some questions or asking some questions. Pretty cool stuff there. Okay, so also in about an hour from now, Robert McNeely will be right here at the desk. We'll be having him do the coverage for the next broadcast. So 3 o'clock is the Oval Office announcement from the president, where Pete Hegseth will be there as well. So we'll see what this announcement is all about. For all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you at 2:30.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live Show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.